Greetings, everyone. Pete Pardo here from Sea of Tranquility. Welcome to another episode of Ranking the Albums. That's right, it's Sunday morning, where Craig and I are in the co-captain's chair. Mr. Craig Kaminski from the Monsters Den and the Hudson Valley Squares.
Good
What's
morning. How
happening,
are
man?
you?
You got a little airplane mug. Gotta love it.
Yep. Got my Sunday morning coffee.
There you go. There you go. So we are doing this is kind of like a follow-up to a ranking that Craig and I did a couple months ago, where we did the Obsessed, right? Of course, one of the great couple of bands that Mr. Wino has had over the years, and we promised when we finished that Obsessed ranking that we would eventually get over to Spirit Caravan, and that is today. So this is a small catalog, even smaller than the Obsessed. And speaking of the Obsessed, brand new album coming out immediately. So be on the lookout for that, folks. And yeah, we probably should have waited till the new album was coming out. But I think when we did the Obsessed ranking, there was no news of the new Obsessed album coming out.
And it got pushed. So
Yeah, it got pushed. So
yeah.
we're just like, we're just going to go ahead with it. But we will be on here reviewing that album when it is available. So be on the lookout for that over the next couple of weeks. But for now, Spirit Caravan. So one of his other bands, kind of similar, right? Just two full lengths and one kind of, it's an EP, although it's like 20 some odd minutes or whatever. We decide to include that here. We don't always do EPs, but for this, it totally makes sense. And a power trio, not around for that long. I think,
Yeah.
what, couple of years?
4 years. Yeah, not
Yeah,
99
something.
to 003, if
I think
that.
so.
And
Yeah.
yeah, then
And the
they got back
releases, we're
together.
talking 2 years, 99 and 2001. That's basically it for the
Yeah.
album. So yeah. Yeah. So we're going to rank them as we like them. And Craig, I don't know if you want to give a little bit of history or factoids about the band before we get started.
Well, just that this is between some of Wino's bands after St. Vitus, but then before another project that he has called Hidden Hand, which maybe someday Pete and I will rank their catalog too. And that goes from that band goes from 2002 to 2007 or so. And Spear Caravan, as Pete said, is a power trio. Dave Sherman on bass, and he sings a couple songs. I think he sings one song on each of their full length albums. And he passed away actually a couple of years ago.
Yeah, he did. Yeah.
He was also featured on the last Obsessed album called Sacred. He played bass on that and traded vocals with Wino on the cover of Thin Lizzy's "It's Only Money." And Gary Esom is a gentleman's name on drums. They had someone, I believe they got back together in 2014 or something to play Spirit Caravan, but then that ended up becoming the Obsessed, which was what they recorded the Sacred album with. So as of now, there is no Spirit Caravan. As Pete said, the Obsessed have a new album and are currently on tour right now as well.
That's right. That's right. I just looked at their touring schedule this morning. They're
Yeah,
playing all over the place. So if you have a
yeah.
chance to go see them, if you're a Doom fan, I highly recommend it. And in anticipation of the new album coming out. So yeah. So we got three releases. Craig and I both. So I'm gonna show you a couple of images via Prezi during this episode here, because they've got Craig turned me on to a really great compilation called The Last Embrace, which is right here. And this actually has both of their full-length albums and some stuff from splits and things. And so this really, if you want like all you really need, well, other than the EP, though, which is Dream Wheel, we'll talk about, we're including this as well. Your best bet is to get this because it gives you those two studio albums and a bunch of other things. It's two
Yeah,
discs, lots of stuff here, and really gives you the whole kind of,
pretty much the whole picture. Yeah.
yeah, exactly, of Spirit Caravan. So, Craig, why don't you kick us off with your pick number three?
Okay, and the my number three of these, and the only reason why I have it at ranked as this is because it is not long enough. As Pete said, this is a Dream Wheel. This is from 1999, 5 songs, only maybe a hair over 20 minutes long, and the I wish there was more of this because what is there is stellar. The title track, Dream Wheel, is easily probably in my top five of Spirit Caravan songs. It's the longest song on the EP. It's a little over 6 minutes. Not long, but in the scheme of things, it is long for the EP, but fantastic song, mid-paced, good vocals from Wino, and I really love that song. If it's worth to pay the a few bucks for for that title track, but however, the other songs on this are there's only five, are great. Burning In is a really cool mid-paced song. You have a short instrumental that's kind of fast called Realignment Higher Power. It's only about 2 minutes long. The last two songs, Sunstoned and See Yourself, are both kind of groovy mid-paced bangers. So before you know it, you're in and out on this album, but it is well worth your time to seek out Dream Wheel, especially for the fantastic track one title track.
Yep. Yeah, I would agree. It's only really here because it's just not long enough, right?
Yeah.
But what's really another thing that I think makes this essential if you're going to investigate this band is I think between this and the other two full lengths, there's a kind of bluesy grooviness to this album that you
Mhm.
don't get as much on the other two. I think the
Yeah.
other two are more straight up stoner doom metal albums, where I think
Yeah.
this is like these songs really groove a lot. There's like I
Yeah.
think if you like the bluesy nature of some stoner rock and metal bands, there's less doom on here and more of that. And I think that's what makes it so fun. I agree. The title track is terrific, really good riffing. I mean, Scott is a good guitar player, really good guitar player, and he knows how to crank at some really good riffs. That's really good. Burning In is also really good. I think Sunstone might be my favorite track on here. I love the riff. I love the wah wah guitar solo, really good. See Yourself, you mentioned like kind of plotting. That's definitely that. To me, I think the instrumental, it's really cool. I wish it was a little longer. It's got some great drums on it, and the guitar solo is really nice. And yeah, this is really good. As EPs go, it's one of the better ones. It's just because there's not enough content here, it doesn't
Yeah.
quite measure up to these other ones. But I think folks who are like maybe not 100% into doom, but they
Yeah.
like some stoner stuff. And if you like kind of bluesy, heavy rock with lots of groove, this would be the one I would recommend actually,
Yeah.
because it is a lot of fun. But yeah, Dream Wheel,
Yeah. And I can't
number
say
three.
enough good things about Wino's vocals as well. I
Yeah,
think he's
it works within the
really
confines here so
he's just
well.
a really underrated singer. I think
Yeah,
he has like this almost gentle yet forceful type voice, and he's not gonna shatter glass with the high notes, but it's
no.
just really pleasant sounding voice that works well within the confines of the
And it's
music.
gruff, but it's not too gruff. It's just
Yeah.
kind of like it's to me, whenever I listen to Wino singing, it's like he's got this kind of like whiskey soaked
Yeah.
bluesy
It's like
metal
some
thing
guy.
going
It's like
on
it's like a guy sitting next to you at your
at the bar,
bar.
right?
Yeah, I mean, but who's really talented.
Yeah.
So my second one, and this is tough because I think both of the Spirit Caravan full lengths have a lot to chew on. There's songs of different speeds and instrumentals. Dave Sherman sings one on each song. There's a lot going on for these. But I went with Elusive Truth for the second which was their second of the two albums, as my number two. The uh, title, the band track called, they actually have a song called Spirit Caravan, is really great. There it is. Black Flower is probably my favorite song on the album. I love that riff. It's just a it's just a good chugging riff. Retro Man is the song that Dave Sherman sings. Now he does have a gruff voice,
He does.
but
Yeah.
it kind of works. It works fine when you only when he if he he's just doing one song. That's a really cool song. Find It is a mid-paced song, again, kind of groovy. You got the slower doom of Futility's Reasons. Cloudy Mirror is a slower song, but really strong vocals from Wino on that. The title track, Elusive Truth, slow doom, but cool. And then it ends with the last two songs on the album. Life or City is a short punky song. Kind of reminds you of some of the songs that he did on the first Obsessed album. And the final track called Outlaw Wizard is an instrumental, which is again kind of faster paced and cool. So but a lot of different speeds and tones to go with on Elusive Truths. So but that one is my number two of this short catalog.
Cool. Yeah, I'm also going to go with that as number two. And I went back and forth. To me, the two full lengths are almost identical in quality, but there's the reason why I put Elusive Truth at number two, I'll get to towards the end of this here. So I find that with this album, um, kind of the opening and the closing is not as strong as what's in the middle. The
Yeah.
meat of the album to me is really, really great.
Hmm.
Uh, so what do you think when they redo like these old Obsessed songs from the early demo days? I find those songs not as interesting
Yeah.
as the actual tracks that they were writing at the time. Like, like Spirit Caravan, that
Hmm.
song. It's okay.
Yeah.
It's nothing
Decent.
spectacular. Yeah, it's decent. But man, Black Flower
Yeah.
is really good.
Yeah.
Retro Man, yeah, other than I find his vocals not as good as Wino's, but man, that song sits
It's a
also
fun
good.
song.
Ah, I mean that heavy blues metal riff, it's so good. Futility's Reasons, I love when they do the slow doom crushing stuff. Absolutely
Mhm.
love it. I love his guitar tones. He's got this mountains of fuzz. Cloudy Mirror is just booming and just
Yeah.
so heavy. Yeah, his tone is just so great on this album, and there's just Darkness and Longing, just
Yeah.
pulverized. Love it, and that riff just like kind of demolishes everything in its path. It's just so good.
Mhm.
But for me, I don't know, Lifer City and Outlaw Wizard.
Yeah, they're kind of like and they're at the end of the album almost like as an afterthought.
Exactly. They're both like one's like a minute and a half, the other's 2 minutes, and it's like they're fast and punking. It doesn't really sound like the rest of the stuff. So
Yeah.
for me, it's like I love everything in the middle of this album, and the kind of the beginning and the closing is okay. And I
Hmm.
think that was, I wrestled here because the stuff in the middle are some of their strongest songs.
Yeah.
I just feel that the album we're going to talk about next, to me, is a little stronger start to
Yeah.
finish. That's kind of where
Yeah.
I'm at with that.
Yeah, so my number one is Jug Full of Sun, which was their first album from '99. Primary reason for this is there is four songs on this that, in my book, are just tremendous, and they're probably four of my six or seven favorite songs by Spirit Caravan are from this album. Opening track, Healing Tongue, is one of those songs. Tremendous song, and it's only 3 minutes. Cosmic Artifact has a really long intro. You think it's going to be an instrumental, but then it kind of kicks in to this really cool groovy song. Fears Machine, good mid-pace banger. You got your epic title track of Dead Love slash Jug Full of Sun, which are really two songs kind of
Yeah.
put into one. It's about 8 minute song or so, but it's truly an epic of doom. And I put in capital letters pointing to the song "Jug Full of Sun." Doom. I mean, that is a really good doomy song. Fang is the song on this that Dave Sherman sings. Again, really, it's kind of a groovy song, but his vocals work well within that. Melancholy Gray, just by the sound of that title, that's your slow dirge of a song. So another one that's you're kind of changing gears a little bit, but then the final three songs of the album are, in my mind, just chef's kiss. Sea Legs with that riff, that's one of those. If you're listening to that in headphones, you kind of go, wow, where is this coming from? It's wow, 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 wow. It's this really cool sounding riff, that slow, groovy song that you really get into. And the final two songs, Kill Ugly Naked, is 2 minutes, is 2 minutes and 19 seconds. But oh my, that's one of those where it's like, song's over, play it again. It is fantastic and
Sounds like
lyric.
Motorhead, doesn't it? I get a
Yeah,
Motorhead vibe from that.
and a really cool melodic groovy solo from Wino on Kill Ugly Naked. Before you know it, the song's over, and you go into what maybe could be my favorite song on the album. It's got a goofy title, but No Hope Goat Farm is fantastic. I mean, it has this acoustic intro that he kind of keeps throughout the song, and he has strong, confident vocals in that, which are not as much so in some of the other songs, but really an accessible doom kind of song. But it's one where it's just he's really painting a beautiful picture on this. And again, not a long song. I think it's less than 4 minutes, but well worth your great closer. No Hope Goat Farm. Again, goofy title, but tremendous song. But Jug Full of Sun from '99, and you see it right there, is my favorite of this small catalog.
Yeah, that's my number one as well. Um, I find this album just the strongest out of all their releases, start to finish.
Yeah,
And you're talking about No Hope Goat Farm. You know what I get when I listen to that song, Craig? Cactus. It
yeah,
reminds me of the American band Cactus from the 70s. It's got that kind of like rootsy, bluesy, that kind of bluesy Delta blues acoustic guitar thing going on, but yet it's
yeah.
kind of doomy and
And
it's
it's got the thumpy
catchy.
bass, and
Yeah.
that's pumped up in it. It's love it.
Yeah. But I mean, this is just chock full of classics. I mean, Healing Tongue is great. Courage might be my favorite song on the whole catalog.
Okay, yeah.
Courage is just what a crusher, what a riff, amazing. And Cosmic Artifact, you know what I get when I listen to that? Reminds me of that first Montrose album, at least for the first half of the song. Then it kind of changes pace. Those
Yeah,
opening riff attack, it's just like, holy shit, that's like Ronnie Montrose from that first Montrose album.
that's another one where it's like it's almost like two different songs.
Yeah,
It's
exactly.
like the first 3 minutes or so is like completely different, and then I think they revisit it at the end. But yeah,
Awesome stuff. Awesome stuff. Power Time. Love the fuzz on that. I'm a fuzz guy. I love that stuff. But Dead Love, Jug Full of Sun. That's really cool. I mean, it's
yeah,
bluesy, it's doomy. The riffing is awesome, really good. I love Fang. Terrific song. You got Chaw, which is really good. They always like to do these little instrumentals, which I think are really cool. I just
and
wish they
it's
were
totally
longer.
groovy. Yeah,
Yeah, it's like that. I love that song. I'm just like, oh, it's like 2 minutes long. I'm like, please give me more. I love it. It's just so good. Melancholy Gray is just slow and doomy, and Sea Legs.
Ah,
Give me big riffs, wah wah guitars,
okay, so
and then fuzz bass, and I'm sold. I'm
okay,
totally
because
sold.
I'm not musically inclined, so that's done with the wah wah, the riff that's on that
He's got wow
primarily.
in the beginning of the song and then
Yeah,
towards the middle, and then that the bass is loaded with fuzz too. And I love when like the bass is like keeping it with the guitar. You got the guitar riff and the bass, and they're both so prominent in the mix, and you're like, oh, listen to that. Kind of like like NIB from Black Sabbath, right from the first
hmm,
album. It's like that. That to me is a perfect example of when you got the bass and the guitar riff both colliding together, and you
yeah.
hear them both. That's what that song does to me. I
Mhm.
mean, Sea Legs is just absolutely enormous. So yeah, this to me is their most fully realized album, and I think it just has some of their best songs.
Yeah,
I think the other album also has some killer tracks on it, but just for me,
yeah.
Elusive Truth, I think just has a couple that I don't really care all that much about, but this
Hmm.
album I care about everything a lot. So
Yeah,
that to me is the number one. And I love this album cover. You know what I wish that they
yeah.
did in this? I wish they had the other album covers in here
I
because the
agree.
booklet
Yeah,
kind of blows. It's got a lot of information, but it's like
they
it's
had
just
some
all,
original art, I suppose, for this, but not. They don't actually show you and they give you the lyrics to everything.
which
The
is
only
cool. Yeah.
the only thing that's kind of annoying is this for people. I didn't use. I mean, I used to do this, but if you're playing this in your car, I had to put a post-it note on the back because
What's on what album?
the
Yeah.
songs aren't printed, and in the booklet they're not numbered either. So if you're in your car and it's like, oh, track 8 is on, it's
Yeah.
like I don't know what that is.
Yeah. This is an epic fail. You have to put the track listings on the
Yeah,
back. I mean, and I don't know what label put this out. I can barely read it.
Mine's on Meteor
Oh,
City.
Media City. Yeah. Yeah.
But
But
the
you know,
three
you
new,
can.
the,
I don't remember, Craig, when we first talked about doing this, and I was going out to get these. I mean, I think I had a hard time finding Elusive Truth and Jug Full of Sun
separately,
on separately. Yeah, right.
yeah.
So, or I
But
think I could get one and not the other, or something like that. And Craig's like, just buy this. It's this. They
yeah,
had everything.
the
Well,
three original songs that were recorded for this are also really, really good, especially Dove-Tongued Aggressor is just a wonderful song. Brainwashed is one of the other ones that has a really cool riff. And again, this has B-sides that they recorded
yeah,
during their short span that this collects them all in one place. Lost Sundance and The Departure, and tracks like that. So it's a really good, really nice 2-disc set to get if you just want to get the both those albums, because like Pete said, they're kind of pricey or a little hard to find if you wanted to try to buy them separately.
yeah, yeah. Departure's a good song, by the way.
Yeah.
Like that quite a bit. So yeah, so there you have it, everybody. Spirit Caravan, like I said, might be a fairly obscure band for some of you, but if you are Scott Wino Weinstein is not not Weinstein, Weinrich.
Rick Reinrich.
What's Weinstein? He's not an unknown quantity in this
No.
realm of music, but he's got so many projects, it's probably hard to keep up with him. But I don't know. When you look at Spirit Caravan and The Obsessed, do you prefer one over the other?
I mean, even though the Spirit Caravan is shorter, I kind of like those better than the Obsessed. With that small catalog, there's just so much to chew on with that. And I mean, I love the Obsessed too, but there's a little bit of a different flavor with
Yes.
Spirit Caravan. I think that the Obsessed doesn't have, even though they're both three pieces, and have some similar members. It's just made however he wrote and crafted those songs are just really tremendous. And then he moved on to the Hidden Hand next project, where he sings maybe half the songs on this catalog. His bass player Bruce Falkenberg sings the remainder of them, but that's a tale for another
Another
day
day. There you go.
to tackle. But this was another short-lived project of his for about 5 years or so.
Yeah, I guess if you have so many different projects going, you can't have them all sounding exactly the same, because then what's the
Yeah,
point? You might as well just have one, right? So
right.
yeah, I do. I also detect subtle differences between these guys and the Obsessed, and I think there are some songs in this catalog that I like better than anything from the Obsessed, and I think the Obsessed catalog
I
is
agree.
really good.
I,
So
I agree. Yeah, yeah. Kill Ugly Naked and Healing Tongue and uh yeah, ooh, Black Flower, Dream Wheel. I mean, just wow.
Secret
Go out,
Agony.
go and people out there, go out and look these up. Gary Joyce, wherever you are out there, I mean, you probably rank these yourself, but I'm
Oh, come
curious.
on, Gary's been listening to these for the last week and
I'm
a half.
curious to
Yeah,
see. I'm
Gary
curious to
knows.
see how Gary ranked these too, because I know he's a loyal listener and watcher. So I want to see what he thinks of these.
I
And
am
everyone else. But
predicting Gary's ranking will be identical to ours.
yeah,
But we'll see. Maybe
we'll
maybe
see.
Gary might go Elusive Truth number one. I don't know.
Yeah, and it depends how heavy he likes his doom.
He does,
So
yeah.
we'll see.
Yeah, Gary's been all over this one, so awesome. And I know Gary's in the comments right now saying, "Hey, remember me." So thanks for watching, everybody. Visit us on the web at www.seatranquility.org. We're on Facebook, we're on YouTube all together,
All the
all
time.
the damn time. Uh, I am not 100% sure, but I think next week's ranking show is going to be Arabs in Aspic, the great heavy prog band from Norway that I am going to be doing with Scott Lade from the Prog Corner. I think that's next week, but I'm not 100% sure because I am away next weekend. So we've got to get it recorded during the week. So we'll see. And if it's not that, it'll be something that I'm going to do solo that can be really quick. I've got this ridiculous list of ranking the album shows on tap. So I've got all sorts of stuff that's going to be coming over the next couple of weeks and months. So a lot of really fun stuff. I got Creator,
Oh,
Destruction,
yeah.
Sodom. That's all on tap. We've got Badfinger and Bread. I'm going to
Yeah.
be doing Kylesa. We got Arabs in Aspic and Dark Tranquility and there's so many more.
I don't think you'll ever hear Creator, Destruction, Sodom, and Bread in the same
No, you would not.
in the
No,
same sentence on any other channel on YouTube. So
no.
that's that is a unique one
That's
out
right.
there.
Got Children of Bodom coming up. Got geez, I wish I could just read the list, but I gotta go find it in my document. But yeah, there's tons
Keep it a
and tons
secret.
of all across all sorts of genres, which is always the fun thing because I love doing these ranking the album shows because it just kind of keeps everything fresh because you never know what
Yeah.
you're gonna expect less. Next, you could get like a death metal band, you can get a prog band, a fusion band. It's always something different. Classic rock, we kind of cover all the different genres here, so it's always fun. So yeah, so that's what's coming up. So stay tuned. What do we got coming up tomorrow? Is Hudson Valley Squares Day. So Craig, you want to let everybody know what's happening on the squares tomorrow?
Yeah, we're celebrating Metal Blade Records. So the panelists we are coming up with our top three of our favorite albums that were released from any year on the Metal Blade label. So there's lots to choose from
40
between,
years worth of Metal Blade, right?
yeah, from the 80s. So curious to see, and I'm also curious to see how many honorable mentions Count Ralphus has, because he probably has most of the catalog of
He's going to have
all
the entire catalog ready and waiting. You
of
know it.
all of these bands. Yeah, he's going to show Metal Massacre 1 through 35, I'm sure, and he'll have them all within arm's reach.
Yes, yes, absolutely. Yeah, this will be really cool because I think everybody kind of comes in or has come into Metal Blade at different times.
Yeah,
And like you mentioned, there's a lot of the classic ones from back in the day, but there's also a lot of great obscure ones that have popped on the label all throughout the history. And there have been some really good ones in more recent years. So, what are we going to see? We're going to see some King Diamond. We're going to see some Fates Warning. There's all sorts of bands that could happen here.
yeah,
So,
they had a wide range of sounds, not just your speed and thrash and that. I mean, they had traditional sound, Omen and things like that. Fates Warning, like Pete said. Yeah, there's a pretty
there's
wide
Doom, there's some
selection.
prog, more recent years, there's prog and black metal. And yeah, Metal Blade uh, has really morphed and changed over the years as far as the type of bands that they would sign and release. And whereas it
Yeah.
probably a little bit more predictable back in the 80s. But yeah, it'll be interesting to see what everybody comes up with. So,
Yeah.
and again, we don't compare notes, so it'll all be a surprise come Monday. So stay tuned for that. And for all of you watching, if you are metal fans and you have history with Metal Blade Records, get your three favorites ready to participate in the chat and in the comments. And we'll see you on Monday. So for Craig Kaminski, I'm Pete Pardo. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. We'll see you next Sunday here on Ranking the Albums. But tomorrow, Hudson Valley Squares. Till then, have a good one, everybody. Bye-bye.